Hi, I'm Randall from Randall's ESL Cyber Listening Lab, providing tips on language learning, culture, and human development. And in today's broadcast, a wonderful opportunity for us to meet a teacher and her students from Tunisia. And as we introduce this particular broadcast, I want to simply say that since the middle of 2020, I have interviewed teachers, top-notch teachers, insightful, fantastic teachers from around the world who have shared their challenges and experiences, especially during this difficult time of the pandemic. That said, part of the most important part of this conversation has really been absent from that discussion. And what I mean to say is that we need to be involving teachers and students in this whole experience. And so in this episode, I will be interviewing Ines Ben Rebah, an English teacher from the Excellence Private School in Nabeul, Tunisia. And she's going to be sharing with us and her students a little bit about their country, a little bit about their food, their experiences of learning the language of English, challenges and successes. They're also going to be talking about the qualities of the ideal teacher and their hopes and dreams for the future. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring on our guest today to talk about this topic. So I'd like to welcome everyone. And I don't see Rania. I think Rania will be joining. Maybe she is trying to get on here. And so let's just go ahead and begin. I'd like to say welcome to all of you.
Hi. Hi, Randall.
Hi. And again, Ines, I'm going to have to practice to make sure that I get your last name right. Ben Rebah. Ben Rebah.
Yeah,
is that okay?
Ines Ben Rebah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Ines
great.
Ben Rebah.
Well, let's go ahead before we jump into. Let's see some of the other people that are joining us here. We have Luis from Boston, Samaya from Tunisia, and again, you're probably going to have to help me with some of these names.
Abderrahim Toueti.
Yeah, that's what I said. I need to practice that. We have Nora, nice to be with you. Renato from Brazil. We also have Mohammed from Tunisia. Alan from
my colleague.
I'm sorry?
He is my colleague, Mohammed.
Great. So we just have a lot of people from Algeria, Nader from Tunisia. Okay, from Saudi Arabia. Well, we got so many people from Brazil. Irina. Another from Mongolia. Well, that's wonderful. Aicha and Nisreen. So proud of you. Maybe that's someone you know. Okay. Henda. And Riyadh says, hi, Ines. Glad to get to know you. You're a great teacher. And that's great. Great teachers, of course, make great students. And great students make great teachers. So let's just go ahead and get into the broadcast, so that we can talk about this really relevant and important topic. So let me go ahead and let's go ahead. So let's kind of do an outline for the broadcast so that people know what we're going to be covering today. Again, the broadcast is Yes, We Can, Challenges and Successes in Learning English in Tunisia. That is the main focus of today. We're going to start with introductions. First of all, with the students, we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Then Ines, you'll be introducing yourself. And then we're going to get the part one. It was with Melek and Ines. They're going to be talking a little bit about the country, the land, the people, the food as well. I hope that you deliver to the United States the food that you're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the challenges in learning English in Tunisia. And then Rania and Serene, they're going to be talking about some successful strategies to learning English. And they're going to be talking about the qualities of the ideal teacher and their hopes and dreams for the future. As you know, as we talk with Melek and Serene, and again, we're looking forward to Rania joining us as well, is we want you out there to be part of this conversation as we talk about the main theme is, again, yes, we can, successes in learning English and Tunisia. So let's just go ahead and begin. We're going to start with the students. And We're going to start with Melek. Melek, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself. You have 3 hours to do your introduction, and then we're going to talk to Sadine. So go ahead, Melek.
Hello, my name is Melek, and I'm 15 years old, and I love reading and writing. That's all.
Great, great. And Sadine, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Serene. I'm seeing and watching anime.
Okay, I think we lost you a little bit. You said you like watching anime. Is that right? Okay, well, great. And again, we have one more guest that hopefully will be joining us in a few minutes. We'll bring her into the conversation as well. So let's go ahead, Ines, if you would, again, as we started to talk a little bit, we have we've done the introductions. Just tell us just a little bit starting about Tunisia. Now, I'm not going to ask the people that are from Tunisia where Tunisia is, but there are people that really don't know a whole lot about Tunisia. So if you could just talk a little bit about where the country is located and a little bit about your school, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so we'll start talking about Tunisia, which is found or located in the north of Africa, or North Africa. And as you can see in here, it's very close to the countries which are in the south of Europe. So it's very close. We are so close to Italy. Maybe if you go to Italy, it would be a closer trip than going to the south of Tunisia. So Tunisia is actually the smallest country in North Africa. And it's bordered by Algeria from the west, and it's bordered by Libya actually to the east, and it's bordered by the Mediterranean actually to the north. So that is Tunisia. It's a small country.
And just so everyone is watching, there is no test on the geographical features of the country.
No,
we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your school, and then Melek is going to talk a little bit more about your country.
Okay, so the school, it's actually called the Excellence High School of Nabeul. Actually, it's not only a high school, it's a middle and high school. But at the beginning, it opened its door in 1998. It was the first school which opened in the region at that period. And then it developed, it became like, it changed the way. It became a high and middle school. Actually, it was a pioneer at that time because no school in the region was like a private one at that period. Actually, most of the schools were state schools. So it is one of the pioneer schools at that area. That's the point there.
Okay, well, great. And let's just talk a little bit about this part where Nabeul is, and then we'll turn the time over to Melek.
Okay, so actually, Nabeul, it's as you can see in here, it's in the northeast of Tunisia. It's a coastal city. It's a tourist destination where people come from all the places, because you can see here they can enjoy the warm weather and the fine weather, and the sea, of course. So they are always welcome.
Great, great. So right now, Melek is going to talk a little bit more about the country. We ask you, I mean, we're going to be talking a little bit about the country, the land, the people. If you're from Tunisia, please share in the comments what is unique about your country, your food, your people. We'll bring that into the conversation as well. Just so we can see who is joining, we have Annie from Costa Rica is joining us. Osama, wonderful teacher. This must be one of your students.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Again, some of the names I'm not sure how to pronounce. That's my name. Okay. Elif is from Tunisia. Leila from Tunisia. Dali from good job, Ines. So, well, wonderful. Well, Ines, right now, we're going to turn the time over to your students so they can share their ideas with us. So let's go ahead, Melek. If you could just tell us a little bit more about your country.
Okay. I'd like to start with Qayrawaan because it's a very beautiful country, and when Muslims start to open Africa, it was the first one to be colonized. So it was founded by Aqba ibn Nufayl. Then it was the center of attention of all the cultures and of the world. And it was founded like on the 7th century. and it's until now one of the most beautiful sites of Tunisia.
Okay, so you're talking a lot of history. There's a lot of history, and
because Tunisia is rich in history. We have like 3,000 years of civilization and history. So she just named a few things.
All right. All right. Well, that's wonderful. And I'm sure we could talk about the mountains. We could talk about all kinds of things. But thank you, Melik. And we're going to bring you into the conversation in a couple of minutes as well. Let's take a look at some other comments that are coming in. We have Olivia from Bolivia sharing. Emma from Tunisia. Good job, Ines. And again, feel free to share a little bit about any questions that you have for our group of students who are participating in the broadcast today. So we've talked a little bit about those comments and so forth. Let's talk now about a little bit about the food. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure that there's a lot of food that we're going to talk about, but let's talk about this one right here.
Yeah, actually, the couscous, like French people would call that, but in the Tunisian language, we call that couscous. That is our traditional dish. Like we have fish and chips in England, or we have, I don't know, I would say something like that in any country. Each country has to have a traditional dish. The couscous is actually made up of, how can I say that? Corn, and then we can actually, how do I say this one? We will smash it if you want, and then we'll have those things we need to prepare. There are many steps that we need to go through to get this type of couscous, and then we can cook it with a lot of things. So with meat, with lamb, with fish, with chicken, only vegetables. It's cooked with different things. So you can find couscous in each house in Tunisia each week, and so on.
Well, let's ask Sadine and Melik, how often does your family prepare and eat this?
It's like once a week.
Okay, once a week. Sadine, what about in your family?
Yeah, same, once a week.
Okay, now who prepares it?
Tell them about the week. Tell the people in the world about the day of the week where we cook this one, because we have a special day.
So Melik, is there a special day when your family makes it, and who usually makes it?
In our family, my mother cooks it, of course. Normally it's on Sunday, but sometimes it's on
Friday.
Yes, Friday, because
Friday?
there's the religion thing.
Okay.
So just to mix it. Yeah.
That's great. Now you said, Melik, that your mom makes it, of course. Why didn't you say, I make it, of course?
It's a complicated dish.
Okay.
It's not that easy.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Sadine, do you help sometimes in making this dish, or is it very difficult to make?
Oh, it's difficult.
Okay. Well, hopefully now this will be the challenge to learn how to make that when I visit Tunisia. All right. Well, wonderful. And I know there are other foods. This one, and again, it looks like some type of salsa. What is this?
Actually, that one is called Refisa, and it's kind of chili, red chili, which is smashed. And we can mix it with oil and eat it actually in every dish, especially in the area we live, because our region is famous for that. Now you can see that red chili over there. It's one type of the chilies we have here in Tunisia. So sometimes we dry it, sometimes we cook it like that, sometimes we gently boil it. So it has many ways of doing it. But this must be found in each house, and it's very healthy, by the way.
Okay. And we see
it's
some other
very hot, but spicy, but it's very healthy.
Well, I love spicy food. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I know there are other foods that we're not going to be talking about. For everyone that is watching, that's your homework to look up these foods. Okay.
Yeah.
So
now, the
let's
last
go
one
ahead.
that you have in here, excuse me, Randall, if you just
Yeah.
can go back to the last slide.
Yeah, sure.
The last one here, because you mentioned 4 types of foods. So we have actually labebi, brik, and kaktishi. These are salty food, if you want savory foods. But the last one is, I would say, sweet one. So we eat that usually in summer when we are next to the beach. So that is something very traditional.
And I can see Melik saying, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. That one.
All right. Well, let's look at some other comments that have come in, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about some of the challenges. Let's see here. We have, oh, wow, there's a lot of comments here. Riyadh says, I recommend you pay us a visit. Tunisia is a great country. All right. I certainly hope so. Again, I've met so many warm-hearted people from your country. Certainly want to do that. Nora says, hope teachers from different parts of Tunisia join in the conversation and talk about the place they come from. Yeah, and I'm guessing that maybe there are certain foods that are more popular in certain areas in Tunisia. And that certainly would be interesting. Henda says, grilled salad, salad.
How
do you say that?
That's
okay, I give up. That's my pronunciation lesson for tomorrow. All right. Yeah. Ben Rebah, your name, Ben Rebah, is my pronunciation homework for today. Henda says maybe once a week, talking about some of those foods. 3 times a week. So a family that really enjoys that. Well, maybe one day a week, I'll go to Sadine's house, then Ines's house. That would be wonderful. Let's see what else. Here is something. Are these different places to visit?
Yeah. No, we mentioned
Maqrud al-Qurwan. It's a sweet known in Qurwan.
Okay. Again, I'm learning every day. Saturday or Sunday, maybe when this food is being eaten. Oh, Sunday, right? Is that when that? Okay, so often on Sunday.
When the family gathers, all the people will gather and eat couscous usually.
All right. Layla says Tunisian food is the best food you can ever taste in the world. I wonder where Layla is from.
She's Tunisian, of course.
Enda says at religious celebrations, certain foods. Nadia says a perfect Sunday dish. Here's another one. I'm not sure what this one is.
I don't really understand, but Sharia, I don't understand really. I don't understand what.
Okay, I'm not sure as well. Okay. Then we have Tunisian wasabi. Oh, I love wasabi. Okay, but I've never tried Tunisian. Oh, Adadi asked from Colombia, are these spicy ingredients? So the things that you were showing, are they real spicy?
Yeah, actually, there are some places. Now, there are some places in this country which cook with one mixed with oil and something. And there are some other places which cook with the red chili, which is dried first and then smashed. So here it differs from one region to the other one. But most Tunisian people would prefer eating things which are really chili and spicy.
Okay. And here's a comment. Samaya is talking about couscous is made maybe with wheat.
Yeah,
wheat.
Yeah, that is true. Yes, it was just a slip of the tongue. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there may be different styles, of course. Again, we have something saying interesting. Here's another one. Refisa is a popular food in Northwest. Okay.
Yes.
So certainly we really appreciate everyone sharing those things about your food. Wow, we could talk all day about food. But let's go on now. Let's go on to the next part. So we've been talking a little bit about the country, land, and people. But what I want to do now is talk about some of the challenges of learning English in Tunisia. And then a little bit later, Sadine is going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we can do to have success. So yes, Melek, what are some of the challenges in learning English in Tunisia besides the lockdown?
Yes. First of all, we have a French language, which is the second in Tunisia, that make us a little have a little problem in knowing English, because kids in Tunisia learn English when are 9, 10, 11. So it means at a late age. It means that that sometimes there can be problems. Um, and second of all, the lack of communication with the native speakers of the language, because most of the time, even in the elementary school, there are teachers who are not really specifically studying the English at the college. It means they can even being teaching Arabic, and they teach you at the same time English. It means they can have sometimes some difficulties teaching kids. So it's a little a problem, and the problem that in spelling and pronunciation, because you can sometimes refer to the French language, is a little complicated to learn English in Tunisia.
So are you saying, Melek, sometimes you said a couple of ideas. Number one, you were talking a little bit about not having a lot of native speakers with whom to practice. And then you said maybe a mixing of French and English a little bit.
Yeah.
Can be a little bit of a challenge. I'm just going to ask, and Sidine, be thinking also about maybe any of the challenges that you find. And those that are watching, I know Alex shared some ideas on some of the challenges of learning English in her country. But what about you, whether you're from Brazil or Colombia or India? What are some of the challenges that you face in learning a language? Okay. Ines, do you have any thought on that? And then I'll ask maybe Sidine if she has any thoughts on that as well.
I think my students should start first, and then I would comment on it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Melek, those were some great ideas. Sidine, did you have any thoughts on challenges of learning English in Tunisia?
I agree with Melek with the French part.
Okay. Okay. So that idea of the mixing of French and so forth, that can be really hard. And I think it's hard for teachers too, because maybe you feel it's a challenge, but some of these teachers, oh, what? I'm teaching English this time? No, I'm supposed to teach history. No, you're the new English teacher. I don't know, but those can be challenges. Let's take a look at.
But I think, Randall, these days, I think Tunisian people and people who are in charge of the program and the curriculum and everything are taking that into consideration, because they are changing the way that English is taught. So now we start studying English at elementary school at the age of 9, I guess. But myself, I was taught at the age of, I think, 13 years old. So I was in the 8th form, that means in the middle of middle school. But now they are studying that in elementary school. That maybe shows that they are already having recognized the importance of the English language in the students' way to achieve their dreams and everything.
So things are changing. Yes. Let's look at some comment. Oh, sorry there. I'm going to cover your faces in a minute.
No, it's okay.
It says, Fatma says, this episode is a great opportunity to thank our teachers. So I want to thank Mr. Riyad. I want to tell him that I'm so grateful for you. Yesterday, I started my first lecture in English. It was very good. All of the parts that I developed were based on expressions and tips given by Mr. Riyad when I was following this English course. So maybe the ways in which teachers help students is going to be some of those successful tips. We have Bravo. Dottie said, oh, from Colombia, I really love spicy food. All right.
He's still there.
And again, we have some other comments coming in about maybe some different foods. I'm sorry?
If he likes spicy food, so he is welcome in Tunisia.
All right. Well, great. And Dottie, let us know if there's a particular food when Melek goes to Colombia, what she should try if she likes spicy food. Here's another one. I think we've seen that one as a popular dish in Africa. It says, Norda says, almost all Tunisian food is spicy and hot, though prepared differently according to the region. Isra from the United Arab Emirates, thanks for joining. Again, we have a lot of comments coming in and really praising This shows us, despite we belong to the same country, we can find a lot of differences in foods and traditions. I think that's really important because we don't say, oh, you're from Tunisia, therefore you think, eat, live like this. And that's not always true. Here's some, maybe a lack of opportunities to speak English outside the classroom is the biggest challenge. Is that what you were talking about, Melik? A little
Yes,
about having challenges?
yes.
Okay. Nora says a lack of real life situations where students feel motivated to speak English. The only context is the classroom. And I think that's true. Hey, Sidine. Hey, Melik. Try to learn English, but there's no chance for you out in the community. Then you feel kind of discouraged. I think that's great. Elif says the low coefficient is another cause that may decrease students' motivation on learning. So a lot
I totally agree with her. I totally agree with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would just explain that to you. Maybe you will not understand, but here in terms of grades and marks that we will have in the marking at the end of the year, the marking report they would receive, the students. So actually in primary school, it's just trivial thing, English. Then in middle school, it's 1.5 and 2 sometimes. And then actually when we go to high school, it's up to 3 when they are really specialized in arts. So maybe this is the highest coefficient, like she said, that can be allotted to the English language, which may lead the students to not really consider that as an important subject.
Great ideas. Yeah. Henda says learners don't have opportunity to practice English outside of the classroom. Another question is, Henda says students think English classes are boring. Now let's talk about that for a minute. Now, Ines, you kind of shook your head just a little bit. Let me ask.
I don't really agree on that.
Wait, hang on. Let's give voice to the students. Sidine and Melik, have you ever had a class, any class, science class, math class, that were boring? Yes or no?
Sometimes when it's really, really like hot, it's like 5 p.m. and it's math. I really feel so bored.
Okay. Sidine, have you ever had a class where the teacher was boring?
Yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes.
But sometimes, maybe you don't want to say, I don't want to name the teacher, but yeah, sometimes that can happen. Another question is, we speak French, English in Tunisia. Maybe some of the things that were mentioned. Kaylor from Costa Rica says, I would like to know how many hours a day or week do you receive English classes? So Ines, how many hours a day do you have English class?
Fine. So normally in a normal prep school, that means middle school, they have 4 hours of English. Now, like my own situation, I'm teaching in a pioneer school. So that means I'm teaching in one, it is supposed to be the school that welcomes a number of the most achieving students in the region. So they study 5 hours. So they have an extra hour. As for high school, it ranges from actually 3 hours to 5 hours. So 3 hours for first formers, I guess also some of the second formers. And those who are having third form and fourth form, they may study 3 hours, or if they are arts, they will study 5 hours. So it ranges from 3 to 5.
Yeah, I think there was a question that was coming in. Manel says, Kaylor, it depends on the level. And I think that's what you're speaking of. Mesa from the United Arab Emirates. Glad to see a teacher and students expressing their thoughts. Yes, that's what we want to hear. It's that balance of voices coming through. Let's see here. Oh, wait. Dottie says, we face the same problem. We don't have so many people who speak English very well to practice with, again, in Colombia, but we have technology, which is a useful tool to increase and practice what we learn. Another question, Sonia says, we need a practice is needed. In a minute, we're going to be talking about things that we can do. Senda says, young learners are more interested in learning English than other second language. So let me ask you, Sidine, you have a choice, French, Okay. Okay. Oh, hi, Rania.
Rania.
Hi, Rania. Rania, thank you for joining, Rania. We're going to pause here for a minute. We're going to talk about this comment. Rania, could you just introduce yourself? Sometimes technology and internet connection, and then we'll continue. So if you could introduce yourself, Rania.
My name is Rania. I am 15 years old and I love dancing.
And you love
Dancing.
painting, right?
Dancing.
Dancing. Okay, dancing. And again, I'm not going to ask you, Rania, to dance for us today. That's in the next week's show. Okay, dancing. So let's go back. We see I need a lot of practice is needed. Let's see what other. We got a lot of comments. Nora says 3 hours, except for art students. They study 5 hours, maybe depending on the schools. Teachers of English are always active and motivating. Now, again, when I was in high school, I didn't want to be an English teacher because my teacher was not active and motivating.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about that. Now, Henda, here's a question. The level of Pioneer School students does not reflect the level of students in normal schools. So there is a little bit of a difference. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah. They are the high achievers. So we don't really have the same level.
Yeah. And I think what we would all agree is that everyone needs compassionate, exciting, motivated teachers, no matter what the level. And we're going to talk in a few minutes, whether you're in this school or this school or this school, everyone needs compassionate teachers. Or maybe here, Manel says the books are not motivating. So I don't know if I were to ask you, when you open your book, Sadine and Rania, when you open your English book, do you say, oh, this is the best book ever? Yes or no? Now, Melek, you can't. No, Melek. Okay. Now, Rania is shaking her head. Sadine is shaking her head. What do you mean? Not the most exciting. Hang on, Melek. And I know. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Just think about that, and we'll come back. English is never boring, especially when it's taught by a professor like Miss Ines. Wow, that's really nice. A nice compliment.
And by the way, Randall, Balqis's mother is an English teacher. So
wonderful.
That's good. That is something for me.
Yeah, and another one is Najia says some work on the material is needed. And maybe that's talking about books. So far today, and we've had so many comments coming in. Again, thank you for sharing comments. So we've talked a little bit about the country, land, and people. We talked about some challenges in learning English. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have Rania and Sadine talk a little bit about successful strategies to learn English. Rania is going to talk a little bit about that. And then also, Sadine is going to talk about the qualities of an ideal teacher. So let's go ahead and talk about successful strategies. Rania, if you could actually speak to this particular topic.
I know some strategies that help many friends to speak good English, like reading books, watching movies, and listening.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Now, when you said movies and listening, what kind of movies or what kind of music do you like?
Maybe pop music.
Okay. Okay. Great. And also, you said listening to music, watching movies. What else? What is another thing that people can try to do to practice their English? Because some people say, I don't have chances.
No, I think everyone has chances to learn English.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So Rania is saying, Randall, you need to think big. You need to think big. And I know, Rania, and again, everyone who is watching, feel free to share your ideas on successful strategies to learn English. Rania is talked about music. She says, oh, Alex said, it's challenging to learn English. But Rania said, yes, maybe, but anyone can learn. And I know, Rania, before the broadcast, you talked a little bit about a new friend you have. tell us a
Yeah.
little about that experience?
That's a good experience because we can know their tradition and how they're um that's good to have friends from another world.
Yeah, from around the world. You said
Yeah.
learn their traditions, maybe learn their friends. And you said you have a new friend. How did you meet that friend?
I met my friend in a trip.
Okay, on a trip. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, communicating with friends, I think, is great. And again, everyone who is watching, feel free to share your ideas on how. Again, the topic is right now successful strategies. We're going to look at some comments in a minute. But before we get to Sadine and talking about the qualities of an ideal teacher, Sadine and Melik, do you have any other ideas on successful strategies to learn English?
No, I think what said Rania was truly enough.
Okay. Okay. Great. Well, let's look at some comments here. Wow, we got a lot of comments. And again, all of these comments are on Facebook. You'll all be able to read these after the broadcast. Let's see. Let's see here. I think we are the only teachers trying to introduce technology into our classes through videos, songs. Rania mentioned songs, speeches, just anything that could motivate our students. And Rania, you said pop music. I mean, for example, if Ines, your teacher, came and says, this is this very old, 3,000-year-old song from the desert of Tunisia, you probably will say, beep, turn off. Okay, so I think that's really, really good. Let's see what else we have. Ascenda says books are very old and have to be replaced with new ones. So maybe that could be a situation where books are. Actually, sorry, I'm covering you up, Melik. Melik, you're going to have, so we could all see. Yeah, there, Melik.
Yes,
Actually,
decline.
many teenagers are very interested in English and are high achievers in the subject. Internet is an excellent tool for practice, watching movies and listening to music. Rania, everyone is saying, oh yeah, Rania had that great idea.
Yes.
Let's see. Fatma says, in Tunisia, we should raise the government's awareness. English becomes the most important language. I think
Yeah.
it's certainly an important language. Nadia says, some lessons are really boring. Students can't find any links between the lessons they take and their interests. Now, this could be really important. You go into
Yeah.
English class, and she said, hi, everyone. We're going to talk about toilet paper, the history of toilet paper. And Sadid
Yeah.
and Rania and Melik, what do you think if she says, we're going to talk about the history of toilet paper? How do you feel maybe about that lesson?
Yeah,
Humiliated?
I can go,
Hang on,
Malik, go,
Ines.
go.
Hang
Yeah,
on,
it's
Ines.
okay.
Yes, Melik, you were saying?
I said I would feel humiliated. There's lots of stuff in the world that we can talk about, lots of things, lots of people that need to be talked about, not that kind of things. Like there
Okay.
are lots of stuff.
Absolutely.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think going back to what Rania was talking about, music, and often pop music has themes and topics that are about our world today. And I think that's great. Another one, learning language by reading books and watching movies. There we have another idea. Sonia says, thanks to technology and social media, more and more students are improving
Yeah.
their skills through social
Yeah.
media. Okay. And again, we
Yeah.
have, yeah.
Actually, some students have better accents and a better level than their teachers themselves. So technology helps a lot. It is
Right.
really helping in teaching English.
Yeah, and we have another, even if books are very old, as teachers, we should be creative. So even if the
Yes.
book is old, you still can have a wonderful class. That's true. All right, well,
Excuse me, Randall, I can dwell on that. I once attended a training session about how you use drama and theater, old drama in the classroom, and it was really wonderful. There was a professor coming from the US, and he taught us how to use that. It was a piece of, it was a text like that. It's a reading passage. It's very boring text. It's very old English language. But believe me, it was fantastic. We transformed all the things happening there into, or we put them on stage. We
I
tried to
think,
explain the feelings, the words into gestures. It was wonderful. So
yeah,
we
these are
can do
great
that.
ideas. Great
Yeah.
ideas. Well, let's right now, what we're going to do is we could talk more about strategies. Again, everyone feel free to share. Right now, we're going to talk about the qualities of the ideal teacher. And so what we're
Yeah.
going to do is we're going to, what happened to Ines? She disappeared. Oh, no, no,
I'm
I'm
here.
sorry, Ines.
I'm
Okay.
with you.
No, I'm just right now. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the qualities of an ideal teacher. And I'm sure your students would agree you're the ideal teacher. I was just joking,
Thank you.
putting you
Thank you.
backstage. But let's go ahead and talk with Sidine about some of the qualities she sees with the ideal teacher. Sidine?
Yes. So I think that the ideal teacher needs to be supportive, helpful, understanding. Also, he's gotta be funny and outgoing, so the lesson wouldn't be boring or annoying.
All right, so Sidine, let's take a look at some of those ideas. You said helpful, supportive, fun, outgoing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that means? So, Sidine, what is a helpful teacher?
Like when someone doesn't understand something or is like a little bit, the teacher got to explain to him without yelling or making him regret asking.
How about this? How about this? A teacher says, Sidine, your homework. You made 20,000 mistakes. You need to study more. I'm being helpful as a teacher. Is that what you mean? Sidine, I can see
I
Rania
think
and
she
Melik are
couldn't.
shaking their head.
Yeah, but I think Celine didn't hear us. Maybe she has
All right.
a.
I'm getting too
Yeah.
excited right now. That's what's happening. So, Sidine,
Yeah.
if your teacher says, hi, Sidine, on your homework, you made 2,000 mistakes, study more, or you will not pass the class. I'm being helpful. Do you like that teacher, Sidine?
No.
Okay. What about Rania Melik?
No.
I would hate that person.
Why? They're being helpful.
No, we don't come to someone and tell them you made 2,000 mistakes. We must value their will.
1,000 mistakes. 1,000 mistakes.
Not two.
1,000. It's so much, and we must at least value that he wrote on the paper something.
Okay, I agree. Okay, Sidine, you also talked, and let me go back to your slide. You talked about fun and outgoing. Sidine, what do you mean by fun? What is like a fun thing that a teacher can do in the class to help you?
Being active, or I don't know. Like
Yeah, I mean, being active, I think,
like
is important.
Mrs. Ines does, like putting songs or something like that.
I'm sorry, you said active, and you gave an example. I didn't hear the example.
Like Mrs. Ines, I said.
Oh, okay. And there are many things that we could do. Rania, when you think of a fun teacher, what does the teacher do? Does the teacher say, oh, everyone, here's your grammar book. Open up to page 572. We will read the grammar rule together. Is that fun to you, Rania?
No, that's boring.
That's fun. Okay, so tell me what a fun teacher is. What does the teacher do?
Maybe big, not boring, funny, like not severe. He should be active and funny.
Okay, shouldn't be too serious.
Yeah.
right, and so forth. These are great. All right, let's look. Well, we have tons of comments coming in. We're not going to be able to read them all. Let's look at this one. Nora says an idea teacher should be helpful and friendly. Right. So that should be really important. Swasen says, hi, Ines, Randall, and shiny students. Both, and this is a long comment, so I apologize. I'm going to cover your faces for a minute. Should embrace a positive attitude to learning English because it's a global tool of communication. Students should be active learners. You've said that, all of you. It is possible through real world situations, not talking about the toilet paper. All right. All right. Some other ideas. Idea teachers should motivate, engage his students, should be, as Sidine mentioned, easygoing. Right? Now, easygoing does not mean, oh, in my class, there are no tests. There are no homework. No, not that. Okay. Some other questions. Henda says, compared to teachers of other subjects, English teachers are considered more fun and easygoing. This is due to the nature of language. It's the language of US TV shows and Rania, pop music. Right. Another one, being understanding and good at communication. And again, I don't like the teacher that says 20,000 mistakes. I'm changing classes. Okay. Aisha says, I think motivation is the key to keep the pupils interested. A teacher should motivate his students. Okay. Oh, Joseph says, an ideal teacher should give good grades. Yeah, that's an interesting comment there. The ideal teacher should make the learner love the language he is teaching. Funny, friendly, helpful, loving. Absolutely. All right. Right now, what we're going to do as we end, we have just so many comments. What I'd like to do is to end the broadcast today with a few minutes that we have left to talk about hopes and dreams for the future. Okay. What are some of your hopes and dreams for the future? Let's just go ahead and start with Sidine. Sidine, what do you want to do in your future and maybe why?
I still don't know what I want to be in the future, but I just want to be successful and healthy.
Okay. So you're talking about being successful no matter what you do and healthy, maybe emotionally, physically, mentally. Great idea, Sidine. Thank you. Rania, what is your future?
I want to be successful.
To be an English teacher like you, Randall. I want to be an English teacher.
What did you say, Rania?
I want to be successful like Serene, and I want to be proud of myself.
Okay, to be proud of yourself.
Yeah. And maybe I want to be a lawyer to defend innocence.
Okay, right. To be a lawyer to defend the innocent, right? I think that's a wonderful thing. And going back to Sidine said about living a healthy life, a successful life. And when you protect the innocent, you're doing just that. So thank you. Melek, your future. We need at least one English teacher. Is your future English?
No, not teaching at all.
But using English. But using English?
Yes. Sometimes I think, I would do, of course, some traveling, some things like that. Of course, I would use English.
So what is your hope and dream for the future?
For the future, first of all, that the COVID disappears from this world.
Absolutely. I think all of us hope for that.
Yes. And second of all, I want to be a doctor. So I could cure the people that really need to be cured and try to find some new medicine to cure cancer and this kind of diseases.
Wonderful. And all three of you, Sidine and Rania and Melek, are talking about being successful, but not just for yourself, but for other people. And that level of caring, of compassion, of empathy is something that is so wonderful. And you are great examples of your people, of the Tunisian people. So thank you very much. And to end it, Ines, what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
Actually, I want to give a message or send a message to all my colleagues, because teachers are doing a great job despite the difficulties that we are facing in our classrooms. But Tunisian teachers are so talented. They have too many things to give to their students. I just want them to have more opportunities, because we have everything. We just want to show the world we can do it. I want people to hear about Tunisian teachers, and that is my dream for the future.
Well, thank you so much. And again, we're seeing some other comments coming in. A good teacher is creative and emotional. And I know Rania and Melek, I was joking about being English teachers, but you will be teachers in different ways. And I think that's really, really important. Nora says, my number one goal is to get rid of the pandemic. I miss my students.
Right? Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yusuf says, hey, being a doctor is something really important for him. Wonderful. Sonia says the participation and interaction is kind of weak. The teacher is making efforts to talk. Students are silent most of the time. Well, maybe we can motivate students to open up. Okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry, can I add something about the teachers? Like a good teacher, like should let his students talk, like not talk only him, like the whole 2 hours or 3 hours, not only him talking, and the students just silent and looking at him, not understanding nothing.
Right. And I think that's really important. And for me, I don't like teaching grammar if the only reason is to teach grammar rules. If I have, like with you, Melek and Sadine and Ines and Rania, if we develop human connection using English, that is what is most important. Reem says, in the future, I hope to acquire a lot of new and recent approaches to teach English in a modern way. Tedek says, it's more fun and useful. I love you. Okay, again, Sonia says, thank you. It was enriching. So I want to thank you, Ines Ben Rebah, Rania.
You did it.
And Melek, for joining me on this broadcast. You have made my day. And thank you for being such wonderful examples of the Tunisian people. I think you should be proud, Ines. I think all of you should be proud. Your families should be really proud. So from here, from Utah in the United States, I want to thank all of you for joining this special broadcast. Have a wonderful day and an even better tomorrow. Goodbye, all.
Bye, Randall. Thank you. Bye-bye.